Hi, everybody. It's episode 468 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It is Wednesday, August 2nd, 2023. I am Chris. With me is Druten.
Hello.
And Walnut.
I am here.
I gotta say, that woo, that was a fucking lackluster woo this time, guys.
I mean, it was about as luster as I put into it normally.
I don't know. No, normally you guys you got a little oomph to it, usually.
I'm tired.
From what?
Concert, because of course.
There were no concerts this week.
I was at one last night.
I don't believe you.
Arrows in Action.
I almost went to that.
They were good.
Look,
I like them.
Go ahead. Keep going.
Who do they play with?
Oh, God.
Was it Honey Revenge, too?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I was, like, on the fence about buying tickets for that. But I knew I had a full day today, and yesterday was a long day, so I'm like, nah, I'm gonna skip it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rich, how are you doing?
This is my last 5.5 hours of being 34.
Oh, shit.
And I'm
tomorrow's your birthday.
spending it talking to you fuckers. But also, I woke up this morning at 6 o'clock with the belly hurts because my body really, 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 really needed to poop. And apparently I didn't poop enough when I went to bed. So,
how many times do you poop?
I'm usually a morning pooper. That's the thing. I'm usually a morning pooper anymore. But I get my stomach's been all sorts of out of whack because of acid reflux and stuff. Like, I'm taking 2 different kinds of acid reflux medicines, and I still get affected by it right now. So, like,
You just need to transfer your consciousness to, like, a different vessel.
I'm waiting for the day that I can go into a robot. I really am.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't be able to eat anymore, so, like...
I mean, depends what sort of robots we come up with.
I mean, sure, maybe if androids, but, like, would they have the same taste receptors? But you know what? I'd be able to eat gluten again, so that would be nice.
What if you can't, though? What if that's the one thing they don't figure out, is how to make an android, like, process gluten?
Then I'm already used to it then. So it's a no-lose situation right there.
But think about the fuck you. Like, you do that, that's the one thing you forget to ask about, and you get, like, the list of things you can't do, and it's gluten. And that's the only thing on the list is gluten.
What's it happen? It gums up the internals too much to where, like,
Yes.
you actually start to cease to function?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like that.
Yeah, it's great. But that also leads to the question, do androids dream of electric sheep?
They probably dream of electric sleep for sure. I'm not gonna let that by. I'm not gonna let that by.
No, look, it is a sentence to say.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, I think that's the original story that Blade Runner was based on.
Yeah. There's actually, I know this has nothing to do with any of this discussion, but I had seen, I think it was a Vsauce short today on YouTube, and there's a book that's just called "This Book Will Make You Go to Sleep," or "Will Make You Tired," or something like that. I think the book is "This Book Will Put You to Sleep," and it is literally like a book about boring. And all the dull and boring. And there's like 3 pages of just counting sheep.
Nice.
There's a page about all the different kinds of spoons. What was there was a page where like the words are in a circle. Like not the words, the text, like the dialogue or the, like whatever sentences you're reading are spiraled into the point of a spiral, which I guess causes your eyes to circle and fatigues them and makes them heavy. Oh. Chase is throwing up. Hold on, guys.
Right. So, speaking of eating and bodily stuff, Drew, did you happen to listen to Voicemail Dump Truck from last week?
Nah, I haven't really taken in much giant bomb stuff, like
everything,
since all the old crew have gone.
Well, I know for a while there you were still listening to Dump Truck every week.
Yeah, I'd like pop in on stuff every now and then.
So this past week, one of the questions, I just thought this was funny because it's a very Dan answer. One of the questions was like, if you could have all of your financial everything covered for the rest of your life, and all you had to do was eat a bathtub full of a food while sitting in said bathtub, would you do it? And what food would you eat? And like they got into a little bit of like specifics, like. It would just be filled up to, like, your waist. So we're not talking, like, filled up to the rim of the bathtub. But that's still a lot of whatever food. And you would get, like, water breaks and stuff like that. So, like, and no time limit. Take as long as you need to eat it. What do you think Dan picked?
Taco Bell?
Mac and cheese.
Oh, yeah, okay. No.
His that was his initial pick. His reasoning, he eats an entire Stouffer's family-size mac and cheese and is still hungry.
Uh-huh.
So, eating a bathtub full of mac and cheese, no problems.
Yeah, that sounds like a very Dan answer.
I'm sorry, I'm fucking up. This was not on Voicemail Dump Truck. This was on Fire Escape.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Still, it's a very Dan question.
Uh-huh.
He then said at one point that Skittles, that he is pretty sure he has already eaten a bathtub's worth of Skittles in one sitting.
No, he hasn't. Just, no.
And, like, it's Mary and Mike Mahardy.
Uh-huh.
So, like, Mary doesn't suffer his bullshit, and was literally like, you're coming here in December. I will give you $100, and I will fill my bathtub with Skittles if you'll eat them all. And Dan's like, I can do it. Like, I'll do it for $100. I love Skittles.
That would be an obscene amount of Skittles.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I don't really care for Skittles.
You know, you're not wrong.
I think they're overrated.
I like a Skittle now and then. I am never going to buy a bag of Skittles.
No, you know what fruity candy I'm all for? Mike and Ike's.
Starburst?
No, you know what? I don't really care for Starburst either.
But you like Mike and Ike's?
Mike and Ike's are great, man.
I mean, they're like the abandoned stepchild of fucking jelly beans. They're mediocre at best.
They're better than jelly beans because they're longer. They're not bean
Neither
shaped.
of them are.
They're not bean shaped. But no, if I have to choose out of any sort of fruity candy, it's going to be Mike and Ike's.
I mean, they are less. They're less like chewy. So like I can understand that. Like you get the flavor, but you don't have that like I have to chew them for an hour and they're gonna be stuck in my teeth.
Mm-hmm.
But like if somebody has like a bowl of Skittles, I'll eat a Skittle.
Just one? You'll take exactly one out of the bowl?
Absolutely, just one.
Cobb's the one who
what color?
Cobb's the one who goes into the bowl of M&Ms, eats them, and thinks they're Skittles and gets upset.
No, but I would totally be the person to mix like a bowl of M&Ms and Skittles just to fuck with people.
You know what? Yes, do it always. Just because.
Next time you're over, I'm just gonna have a big bowl of fucking M&Ms, and you're gonna have forgotten this conversation. You're gonna be really fucking disappointed.
Look, I'm not saying I hate Skittles. I'm just saying they're overrated, and
but
there's better candy out there. So like, I'll enjoy myself some Skittles for sure.
Yeah, but if you take like a handful of fucking candy and you start chewing it, and half of them are fucking chocolate and the other half are Skittles, you're gonna be fucking upset.
Mm-hmm. You underestimate my ability to recognize M&Ms and Skittles. They are severely different shapes. Well, not severely, but Skittles are much fatter shapes than M&Ms.
But like,
that's why you got to get the crispy M&Ms that are like the exact same size.
Exactly.
Which then everyone's
just
going
get
to
the
be
regular M&Ms.
Everyone's just going to be disappointed at that point if you're getting crispy M&Ms.
I like crispy M&Ms.
I mean, everyone's going to be disappointed because it's going to make me sick. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, true. Have you guys had the coffee M&Ms?
No.
They're like caramel cold brew or something like that. They're too chewy. I will say that. Like if you eat like a whole like a regular like candy aisle bag size of them, like your jaw is getting a workout. But like they're actually very good taste wise. But yeah, candy, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Not sure why I thought it was the dump truck. Probably because it was such a stupid fucking question. But then I remembered that that Mary threatened him to just fill up her bathtub so that she could prove that he can't do it, and like she would do that. But yeah, I guess Rich, what's on the agenda?
On the agenda, we listen to some music. I beat a video game. I started a video game, and Cobb read some books.
Some manga.
I
also read books, but that's not on the list.
Yes.
Yeah, so this week we were supposed to do Groundhog's Day, but instead we're going to talk about music. So, Rich, we'll talk to you in like 20 minutes?
Yeah, something like that. No, I mean, I've got a little bit. Like, look, the one thing that I'm just really struggling with is the idea of how much more subjective music is than movies.
I disagree with that concept. They are equally subjective.
I disagree. There is there is a much greater concept of a good movie over a good or bad, a movie being a good or bad movie over the idea of music generally being good or bad and whether or not you just didn't enjoy it. Most movies, like a lot of the movies we've watched during the book club have been like, yes, a good number of them were
mediocre at best.
A few of them were bad, but the critical scores and fan scores of these movies have not been as bad as you have said they were. And so it comes into a line of there is a consensus and there is objectivity to a lot of visual media that is, these are good things. You just don't like them. Whereas,
but music's the same way.
Subjective.
Objective, that's subjective, yes. But I'm saying there's a lot more objectivity in that stuff. Like, these are good things, you just don't like it. Whereas, the music that we listened to, Catbite's Nice One, and Boys Night Out, Trainwreck, neither of them were bad. Neither of them were bad. I did not like Boys Night Out. I did not like it. And that's where I have the difficulty in this, is there is going to, I have a hard time deciding whether or not, specifically music in general, and I'm sure a lot of people would probably agree, they'll sit here and say that, Taylor Swift is bad. It's not bad, you just don't like it. Because music, everyone enjoys and listens to music for different reasons. And everyone has the experiences music differently, which is why it's a lot more subjective than anything else.
Look, that you're making a good point. Like, I see where you're going. And, like, yes, like, there is somebody out there that is going to say Taylor Swift sucks. In actuality, Taylor Swift, incredibly fucking talented. You might not like her music, but, like, that girl fucking is good at what she does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, you can't, like, nobody can fucking deny that. Apparently, she also just, like, gave, like, her entire crew, like, a $55 million, like, bonus for, like, all the work they've done on the tour.
Dude, her tour, she made the Baltimore area like $1.5 million or some shit like that from her latest show.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. It takes like 22 semis worth of stuff to set up the stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's nuts.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think the problem is people don't often talk about bad music because music is such a thing where, like, it's easy to start an album and immediately just go, no, fuck this, and, like, walk away. Versus, like, a movie, a lot of times, like, if you go see a movie, you're not going to turn it off 15 minutes in because it's bad. You're going to be like, nope, I'm going to fucking finish this movie because it's just 2 hours. Like, what's it matter? It's similar with books. Like, some people, like, will force themselves through a book, even if the book is bad for them or bad in general, just because, like, they paid for it or whatnot. But there is 1,000% bad music. Like, I joke with Drew and I say that, Hot Mulligan is bad. They're not, though. They're very good at what they do. I don't like them.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, I think all three of us will do that often. Like, I don't, and maybe I'm wrong, but, like, I think when Drew says this movie sucked, it's not so much that, like, he thinks the movie is always garbage. It's, he doesn't fucking like movies. So, like, to him, nothing about that movie was in any way engaging.
Yes.
Like, to use, like a music thing, I like Green Day. One of my top bands of all time.
Mm-hmm.
Their last record, Father of All Motherfuckers, is a shit fucking record. Like, it's not that I don't like it, it's bad. Like, they made a bad record. Like, I've seen plenty of other people fucking say that too, so it's not like I'm just out here being like, I don't like it, it's not for me. It was bad. It sounded bad, it was bad. But, like, you're right, like, the music that we will probably talk about are not because all of us have similar tastes. We're probably not going to have music where it's just like, no, this is bad. Mm-hmm. It's going to be like you said, like, you listen to some music that is similar to Boys Night Out, probably. Not similar to Trainwreck, because Trainwreck is a different type of album for that genre.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But, like, you listen to emo and stuff like that, so, like, you get that genre, like, you know bands in that genre, like, it clicks with you for the most part. So, like, you can be like, okay, no, like this sounds like this band and this band that I like, but, like, the way they're doing it is not for me.
Mm-hmm. But, and that's kind of where my point is, like, just because, I don't know, I haven't listened to the new Green Day album. I'm using that as an example, but what is that one Coheed album that everyone hates? Fuck, what is it?
I don't know.
Let me. I know the album cover. I just don't remember the actual album. I believe it was The Color Before the Sun. Came out in 2015. I believe that's the album that people hated, or at least fans of Coheed hated, because it's not about a space opera. I've listened to that album. It's got some bops. It's not normal Coheed. It's decent music. It's good music. But people hate it. Hate that album. Because it's not what they're used to when it comes to Coheed. And that is definitely a thing with music. Like that is part of sort of the subjectivity of music is bands reinventing their sound is not a bad thing. Bands doing something that is so just not even in the wheelhouse of what they've ever done is where things start to get weird. Like, you have like Fall Out Boy, for instance. Like, Fall Out Boy went from, like, borderline screamo, like, pop-punk, emo sort of music to, like, they do, like, radio pop rock now, for the most part. But, like, that wasn't, like, an overnight transition. They didn't go from Under the Cork Tree to whatever their latest album's called, about Stardust or some shit. Like, they slowly rolled into that role. And, like, modern Fall Out Boy, not for me. But, like, From Under the Cork Tree, absolutely stellar album.
Have you listened to So Much for Stardust?
I have not. I'm thinking the last album I listened to, like, for the most part, was the one they put out before that. And that one was just a little too, like, pop rocky. I didn't care for it.
So Much for Stardust, I feel, is kind of looped back a bit.
Okay, that's fair.
Earlier Fall. It's definitely still got some of the more poppy type stuff, but a lot more. You can feel the earlier Fall Out Boy.
Yeah. Oh, here I looked up a list real quick of, like, Rolling Stones ranked, like, the worst albums of all time, but by genuinely good artists. Okay. Saint Anger by Metallica.
Oh, yeah, that one's like
what were you gonna say, Rich?
Hated.
I can't comment on it. I don't think I've ever listened to that album. That's the other thing. I don't listen to albums.
That's fair. And, like, I think with some bands, there are, like, I think in our case, like at least, like, with a lot of the stuff that Drew and I are picking, like, we're not picking bands that are necessarily radio friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We're not so much not radio friendly, they're just not played on the fucking radio because radio stations kind of suck with that shit, and especially around here, MMR only plays, like, the same 4 artists on repeat every day, all day.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say I've listened to the radio for music in 20 years.
Anytime I, like, so my phone has an issue with disconnecting from my Wi-Fi, to where, like, if I get into my car before it disconnects from my Wi-Fi, it won't load up onto the Bluetooth on my car right away. And, like, I'll have to actually, like, plug it in instead of it going to Bluetooth, otherwise there's an issue. So occasionally I'll jump into my car and it won't connect, and I'll just turn on 104.5. It's always fucking Weezer playing fucking Africa. That, like, I've literally, now even in 2023, I still hear Weezer playing Africa at least once a month anytime I turn on 104.5.
Yeah, like, so, like, when I turn my car on, like, the radio, it does default to radio until, like, the Bluetooth connects.
Mm-hmm.
I just have the radio volume muted. Like, it doesn't actually even make sound.
my phone will, or my car will default try to connect to my phone, but because the Wi-Fi connection is so weak where my car is parked, it has trouble playing the music that's on there, and then it just doesn't connect to my phone properly, but it stays on that screen and doesn't play anything else. So there are times that I drive in silence because I don't realize the music's not playing.
Which is weird, because, like, that is not... Your Wi-Fi signal shouldn't have any impact on Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's the issue is the phone is still trying to play the music off of the Wi-Fi, but it's not loading fast enough. So then once I leave my Wi-Fi area, it just doesn't do anything. If the phone is connected via Bluetooth onto my, like, in my car, but it won't function. And the only way it's either I have to plug it in using, like, on my USB to get it to properly connect, or I have to go in and start a new playlist, and maybe that'll work. Like, it is the weirdest thing, but it's just, like, it's only when I'm leaving from my house that I have this issue.
Yeah, I just, like, that's just weird.
It makes no sense, but also I've always had issues with my car's, Bluetooth and GPS issues, and so.
Yeah, like, I jump in my car, and even if I don't have a signal, it connects to Bluetooth, and then once I have signal again, like, it will start playing if I'm streaming. I have a habit, like, when I'm I don't do, like, radio shuffles on Spotify or anything all that often. Mm-hmm. So, like, most of the stuff I do, like, I just have it downloaded to my phone anyway, because I have it set to, like, do the auto-download thing. So, like, it doesn't have to stream, so if I don't have Wi-Fi, it does still play anyway. Yeah. I don't know if YouTube Music even offers that.
I think it does, because YouTube offers the ability to download videos. So, you should have the ability to download music.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're right. Like, 99% sure you're right. But I guess, like, to circle back, so you did mention it. We listened to Nice One, which was Catbite's 2021 release, and Trainwreck, which was Boys Night Out's 2005 concept album.
Yep.
Like, just in general, like, what did you guys think about Cat? Well, Drew, we know you like it already. Rich, what did you think about Catbite?
I thought it was good. The album itself I thought was good. Overall. There were a few songs on there that I didn't, the second song on there, I don't remember it. I don't remember the title. But the second song on the album, to me, sounded like just so generic ska that I did not like that song. And I'm not, like, I love ska, but that song was just, if you think of ska, you hear that song. And so it just, to me, I was like, this is kind of boring. But, like, there was, like, one other song on the album that was, like, gave me the same feeling. But overall, there was some catchy tunes and things like that. I listened to that album maybe twice over the course of the week. 2 or 3 times. And I know I listened to Boys Night Out twice today, and once earlier this week at least. And it just, yeah, it was fine. It gave me, I felt like, I am having a hard time explaining it. The way I explained it in my head was, it sounded a little garagey, like they recorded it in a garage, and that, like,
so they recorded it in New Jersey.
What's that?
They recorded it in New Jersey,
but, like, in a garage is what I mean. Like, it sounded like they recorded it, like, in somebody's garage or, like, in somebody's basement. That, like, it just gave me a little bit of it pushed me away a little bit, but that was just something I had to get past. And it was, like, only, like, the first maybe second or third song. But besides that, like, I enjoyed it.
Oh, are you thinking of, like, the introductory stuff? Introducing? Like, where it's, like, spoken word and it's kind of, like, because it's supposed to be through a tape recorder?
No, I'm talking about Catbite.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got confused, because you mentioned Boys Night Out for me.
I know. No, I'm talking about Catbite. There was, like, some sort of weird, not, like, distortion, but just, like, it just sounded, the way it recorded, or the way they recorded it, it sounded a little off to me, and but other than that, like, I don't, like, even looking at the track titles, like, Call Your Bluff was the one that was extremely ska. Other than that, like, I don't fully, there was no track that sat there and I was like, I remember this track. And it's not that they didn't sound different. It's just that, like, I didn't give it enough listens to actually make it super catchy. Maybe Bibbidi Bibbidi Boom Boom was something that I creep in. I remember listening to or remember hearing a few times. But yeah, that's how I felt about Catbite.
Yeah, I was torn on Catbite, and Drew, I'm curious. Like, do all of their this isn't their only record, right? I honestly didn't look into it too much.
No, this is their second album.
Okay. Do you know how long they've been around for?
Only, like, 6 or 7 years.
Okay, so they haven't been around for a super long time.
No.
So, like, this album in particular, like, I noticed, like, it's got, like, ska stuff to it, but it's also got, like, a heavy, like surf rock sort of vibe to it. Mm-hmm. Like, or even, like, almost maybe, like, rockabilly sort of, like, 1950s aesthetic. Like, more so than, like, a lot of ska tends to have.
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that, like, their sound, or is that, like, this album?
Yeah, no, I'd say that's kind of more their sound, because, like, they don't have horn player in their band.
I was going to say, I never noticed any horn.
Yeah, no. So it's definitely, like, the surf, rock, ska kind of vibe.
Okay.
More than your, like, real big fishes.
Right. Yeah, like, the songs that were, like, heavy on that, I tended to, like, not care for as much. Like, I didn't really like Call Your Bluff, like Rich had mentioned. And there were a couple other ones that, like, it was just a little... It's, like, it's not my vibe. But some of the songs, like, I actually really liked Excuse Me, Miss.
That's probably my favorite. That might be my favorite Catbite song, period. But it's definitely my favorite one.
Yeah, and there were a couple other ones where I'm like, yeah, you know, like, there were songs that I would definitely, like, add to a playlist or, like, add to, like, my liked songs. But it's not like an album where I would be like, I like every track on this album versus, like, Trainwreck, every song on that album is amazing.
Yeah.
But, like, overall, like, Catbite is not a band that I had listened to before. I've only ever heard you mention them as a band that exists. And it's like, yeah, like they've got a good sound to them.
Yeah.
It's funny, just like, cause it's ska related. When we saw Less Than Jake last month, the opening band was, Spring Heeled Jack, which, another ska band, but they're more of like the ska punk area of things. They also have like a sound reminiscent to what you'd like to like 50s rock, but it's more of like the 50s rock and roll versus like the 50s like surf rock. So it's just funny, like, how, basically, it's funny how often ska music takes like trends from like that era of rock and roll.
I mean, because that's like when ska came about.
I know, but like, I mean like modern ska, because what are we on, like the 6th wave of ska or something like that?
I want to say this is technically the 4th wave, like people try to call it, but
ska's weird.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, ska is weird. But yeah, this is a good one. Why did you pick it?
Because they're local and they're awesome.
Oh, I didn't know they were local.
Yeah, they're from Philly.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I did not realize that. Like I said, like, did not really look them up at all. Just, I think I listened to this one far more than Trainwreck because I know Trainwreck backward and forwards already.
Yeah.
So I think I probably listened to this one, I don't know, 7 or 8 times over the week. Like, just front to back. Like, a couple times I listened to them, like, not on repeat, but like I'd listen to the whole thing, it would end, and I'd be like, all right, well, I'm just going to start it over and listen to it again, because I didn't pay attention to a couple of the songs all that much. And like, yeah, like, some songs grew on me more by the time I was done. But like, yeah. Richard, it sounds like you and I had similar opinions of it.
Yeah, I mean, it was good. It was like, it was enjoyable. It was something that I can see myself maybe checking them out again. I don't mind if this shows up on my shuffles. Yeah. That's what this is. That's what Catbite. I don't mind.
Except for Call Your Bluff.
You know, I won't.
No. Hold your fucking ground. Fuck that.
No. But I'm just saying in general, like, if I were to click shuffle onto just generic how YouTube does shuffle, if I just click my super mix and Catbite comes on, I don't mind that. I'm not going to be mad about it. I'm not going to be upset. I probably won't know what song it is because I don't know the band. But I'll listen to it. Drew, you said that, what was it? What was your favorite song?
Excuse Me, Miss.
Excuse Me, Miss.
Yeah. Which is the song after Call Your Bluff.
Okay. Do you have a least favorite song from the album?
It better be Call Your Bluff, you son of a bitch.
I don't know. I've seen them play that live so much, and it's so fun. Stay, probably. Stay. And Call Your Bluff is maybe one of the weaker ones on there, but...
And is, I can't remember if you said this when you chose it. Did you pick this because this is your favorite album of them, or did you pick this just because you kind of picked randomly on an album? Is this their best album in your opinion, or one of your favorites, or is there a better album to listen to?
I mean, they only have the 2.
What are the other ones, singles?
Well, they've re-recorded the first album in a country version and like a punk version.
Oh, that's fun. Cat Light, Cat Fight. Okay.
Yeah. Overall, a nice one's probably the better album. Like I said, I think Excuse Me, Miss is my favorite song that they have.
I mean, they have an EP that only has 4 songs on it.
That's about right for an EP.
But I'm just saying, it's technically a third album.
So, I have Nice One pulled up on Spotify right now. Rich, I just want to point out for us, the song that the two of us disliked the most, is the most played song on the album.
Yeah, you're right. Because same on same on Google or same on YouTube. I keep saying Google because it used to be Google Music. Same on YouTube. It is the 5th most played song from Catbite is "Call Your Bluff."
Yeah, this is just the most played off of this album. It has 416,000 plays. Versus the next closest one would be Bad Influence with 141,000.
But so it's
300,000 more plays, and we both hate it.
So it's the 5th most listened to song on from Catbite on YouTube Music, but it's the single version and not the album version. Which there's no difference, but it's the image that they use is the singles image.
Oh, you know what? It is the highest played song for them, period.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. It's always fun when like the popular song is not the song that like you end up liking.
Yeah, but also like that kind of like in a sense, to me at least, it shows a little bit of versatility. I don't like the popular song, but I do like their other songs.
Yeah, Rich is real fucking edgy. He likes the shit that no one else does.
I'm a hipster over here. But let's move on. Unless we have more to say about Catbite.
No, they're dope people. I've seen them play like 4 or 5 times now, and met and talked with almost everybody in the band at different shows. They're super duper cool people.
That's always cool. Yeah. Like, it's nice when like the people in the bands, even like the smaller bands, are like cool. Yeah. Like Erica because she doesn't hang out in the crowd. Like, she keeps getting to like interact with like people in bands. Like, shit, like when we went to see Hawthorne Heights, like JT was working their fucking merch table after they played.
Mm-hmm.
And like she got to go up there and talk to him. And like he was apparently super nice to her. So like shit like that's always cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But how about some Trainwreck?
It's the greatest album of all time. No, I mean, it's my favorite album of all time, like, period. Of
like,
music. If
you hadn't picked it, it would have definitely been on the short list for like one of my all-time favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I was bored.
Because you have no taste.
I know it's a concept album and the introduction was needed for the concept, but I hated the introduction. I listened to Dragon Force, which is all about telling a story with each and every fucking song. I don't care about the fucking story. I just want to hear the willies. Like, I don't care. I don't listen to music for the story. I listen to music for the music. I did not like his voice. And I
love Connor.
I think that kind of pushed me away. And a lot of either the lyrics when I did hear them and pay attention to them, or just his singing, just sounded so whiny. And look, I like Bayside. I get it. But
now, you know what? Bayside singer, he has a different like voice though.
Yeah.
Like even if their songs are like like emo whiny, like his voice is different. He has a deeper, like kind of raspier voice.
Mm-hmm.
Connor has a very like, he sounds like he's in like a screamo band.
Yeah, and that's that. I think that's
what he fucking was.
That's really what it was. Like it sounded more like he was just yelling and less that he was singing, and it kind of like turned me off.
Are you like a fan of like the other band, like the other like emo screamo bands, like Taking Back Sunday or Hawthorne Heights or any of them?
I mean, when I was a kid, I had a Hawthorne Heights album. Never really listened to it. I'm sure I've listened to like Taking Back Sunday. I don't really know. Like, I don't know if I like, I don't know. I haven't really listened to a lot of, as far as I know, I haven't really listened to a lot of like emo bands and emo stuff. Like, probably the most emo is Bayside and
My
Chem. But like,
My Chem is officially the poster for emo at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If you search emo on Google, it actually just shows a picture of Gerard Way.
At least like that ilk of emo.
Well, I should say that generation, like the generation we're talking about with this, the early to mid 2000s kind of like emo generation. Because like you do, like you have like your mid to early 90s, Death Cab for Cutie and what's Real Estate? Sunny Real Estate?
Sunny Day Real Estate.
Thank you. I can't want to say Sunnyside. I'm like, that's not fucking right.
Mm-hmm.
Or even I'm drawing a blank on other ones, but yeah, like that. You have the 90s emo, then you have like the 2000s emo, and then you have like today's emo.
Yeah.
Death Cab was the exact same time as My Cab and Boys Night Out.
Isn't Death Cab earlier?
Yeah, like a year or two.
Wow, I would have argued that Death Cab was like earlier in the 90s. So apparently years active for them were 97.
Yeah.
I would have said, I thought that they started like closer to like 93, 94.
And like they're like, I saw them in like 2000, 2001.
Like, I mean, I was looking to see if my thumbs up or my like list on YouTube Music had Taking Back Sunday, and I'm just scrolling through down while I have it searched to see if that ever pops up. Is and this is kind of equally as whiny, but I just like it. All American Rejects, is that kind of at least I mean, probably not.
They're more pop punk than emo.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they fall more, like, they're going on tour with Newfound Glory. Like,
and that's like, I mean, that when it comes to a lot of music, like, that's more where I might align to is pop punk. Like, even just generic punk, I'm not like big on, but the pop punk, I like pop music. Okay, I admit it.
Dude, I just got done saying Taylor Swift, incredibly talented.
Yeah, but like, I'm not like I'll listen to a few Taylor Swift songs. I haven't listened to new Taylor Swift in a long time, but like, when it comes to music in general, it's like if there's pop influence, I'm listening to it. But then there's a band called Zebrahead that I just learned about. That kind of just makes me think of Sum 41, but like the good Sum 41, like pre their third album, Chuck, fucking awesome. Which is not pop at all. But yeah, I guess I don't have things. I have All Time Low. I listened to their new album, but that's also pop punk.
Yeah, All Time Low. Like they have some emo like leanings, but like I would definitely call them more pop punk.
Yeah.
Taking Back Sunday, you probably would recognize. You would recognize the intro to Cute Without the E. I can't imagine you wouldn't.
I don't know. Let's see how long it takes to load. Yeah, I skipped that song. I literally
like you just like if it comes on, you skip it immediately.
If it comes on, I skip it.
One of the best songs.
I don't know what it is, but like
that is one of their best songs.
I turned it on and I heard bing bang, and I'm like, it's nothing against that. It's just that I don't know why, but I know I usually skip that song.
Do me a favor, real quick. Search Ohio is for Lovers. Not the best Hawthorne Heights song, but probably the most well known.
That's for sure.
It's like that and like Nikki FM.
I know that one. I've heard that one before. I dig it.
Okay, so you don't hate emo?
No, like I like it. So like at least when it comes to the first one, it's such a long title. What the Taking Back Sunday one?
Cute Without the E, cut from the team.
Sure. I don't know. It's just that first hit. Like I don't know why I don't like it, or I don't know why I skip it. But I know just hearing that I like I'd say like 7 out of 10 times I'd probably skip it. Cause I'm now getting the lyrics and things like that, and like the kind of the chorus, and like I don't know how it goes with it. Like I know how it goes, and like it's a solid song, but for some reason I tend to just skip it.
So I can understand it. Like I said, I was more curious to see like, do you just dislike the genre, or is it like a certain part of it? And like, you might just not like the screamo stuff as much. Like Hawthorne Heights has that, but it's not as much as some of the other bands do. But also, Cute Without the E, not the longest song title. Like, there are so many worse.
Yeah.
Like, Drew and I, Boys Night Out Alone, they have a song it's a quote from The Wedding Singer. It's, I got punched in the nose for sticking my face in other people's business.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's like, God, what is the Fall Out Boy one? I'm drawing a blank.
Many.
There's like one that's like especially long, but like, I mean, all of theirs are actually pretty long. Like, I'd hate to be you when people find out what this song is about. That's a Mayday Parade song. Like, emo bands, like, they had no chill when it came to song titles.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's almost like a cliche of the genre.
Yeah. It's hard. Oh, okay, so two other ones real quick. I think this might be the longest one. I found a playlist. It's hard to be religious when certain people are never incinerated by bolts of lightning, from Mayday Parade. And the one for Fall Out Boy I was trying to think of, our lawyer made us change the name of this song so we wouldn't get sued.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
and I slept with somebody in Fall Out Boy, and all I got was this stupid song written about me.
Yeah.
Like, emo's great, but Trainwreck. Did you pick up on the story at all, Rich?
No, not at all. I like I said, I listened to it twice today. At least twice, if not 2.5 times today. And I didn't really pick up on it. I listened to it once while walking Chase. And, like, even listening to the introduction each time, it didn't click with me. And that's the thing, like, when it comes to concept albums, I'd have to read what it is about, and then start to pick up on it.
That's totally fair.
Like, my best examples are, the Proto-Men. I've listened to both of their albums multiple times. I had to read a synopsis of what it's supposed to be, and then, like, when I listen to it, I'm like, oh, this is this part, and that's that part, and I get that. Or even, I've listened to, one of the greatest concept albums of all time, the Mean Girls soundtrack from the musical, I had to actually pay attention to the song titles and rewatch the movie to realize where each song was, to know what point of the show that these songs were at.
Okay.
And I'd say that in jest. Obviously, it's not the greatest concept album, but Mean Girls, I want to see Mean Girls on Broadway or in theater.
So, Trainwreck. To be fair, and Drew, I think you said you actually usually listen to Introducing and Dying, right?
No, I'm usually kind of at the point where I skip them.
Okay. So, like, Trainwreck is one of the few, like, albums where there's a couple songs that I do especially like off of it. But I don't if I'm listening to it, I'm usually just going to listen to the whole album, minus Introducing and Dying. Mm-hmm. Just because, like, they don't add a whole lot, and Dying is very fucking long. It's almost 7 minutes, I think.
The end of Dying is fucking amazing, though.
That's true. But so the kind of gist of it is a man. He has night terrors and kills his wife in his sleep. He then, like, goes on trial, gets, sent to, like a psych facility.
Yeah, he gets institutionalized.
Yeah, thank you, that's the word I was looking for. He gets institutionalized, he gets put on a whole bunch of medicines to try and, like, curb all the issues that they found with him, which, understandably, he woke up and had killed his wife in his sleep. He then gets out and goes to, like, a halfway house, like it's in the song, and, like, relapses, like, gets better again, but then he kind of becomes a serial killer. He also cuts off his own hands because he thinks that's what's wrong.
Because he keeps hearing his wife in his head singing, and the only way to keep his memory of his wife alive is by killing, so the song keeps playing. So, like it's just this, like, downward spiral until, like the last song, Healing, it's not really healing, it's he's just finally given up and he's ready to die. Mm-hmm. And then the final track is Dying, and that's where his doctor comes in and finds him dead. But, like, seemingly happy. Mm-hmm. It's quite the... like, we used to joke that Boys Night Out went from writing songs about killing their girlfriends to writing songs about killing their wife. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it's a hell of a story to base an album on, and I think it was only... I don't even think, I know it happened. There was, like a play written about it, but I think it was, like, only, like, done in, like, Canada or something like that at, like, a local, like, Toronto theater or something like that. Like, it was somebody local to, like, where the band was from. Mm-hmm. Which I always thought was cool, and I would have liked to see that, because that's fucking cool.
Yeah.
I think somebody's also done, like, a short film version.
Oh, wow.
I feel like I remember seeing that float around.
Yeah. But since Rich didn't really click with this one at all, Drew, what's your favorite track off the album?
Composing.
Same. So, Rich, if you don't remember exactly which one that was, it's the one that it's near the end of the album, and it's got the very slow build up where it's silent at the beginning, and, like, very slowly the instrumentation kind of, like, slowly picks up, and then it suddenly, like, once he starts singing, like, the song picks up a little bit faster. And it is the one with the lyrics where he invites his family and friends and then poisons them, has sex with their dead bodies and then cuts them up and throws them away.
Yep.
I'm listening to it, skipping through it a little bit as you're talking about it, and I had to skip all the way to like a minute 25.
It's a minute and 15 seconds for the intro.
Wow, I forget that intro is that long.
Yeah.
Yeah, get past that intro, and that's a song that I can listen to, but again, the thing that pushes me away is his voice. But
look, that's a thing. Like one of the things I don't like about Hot Mulligan is like I actually don't like the singer's voice all that much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like there are a bunch of other bands where it's just like, oh, I don't like the way this person sounds.
Yeah.
And it's fun. It's funny because like you might find a band that like the singer has a similar voice, but for whatever reason, it just clicks with you.
Mm-hmm. Like, I think the hardest part for me with this album was there were no breaks, there were no cuts, there were no like stops in between each song. Like it just kept going. And
that's
so
albums, dog.
Huh?
That's how albums
I know
work.
what he means though. Like,
no, like
because it's a concept album, it really does like
the track didn't stop and the next track start. It just kept going, rolling into each track. And so I couldn't catch the change of track. I couldn't catch when one track was ending and the next track was coming. To me, the entire thing sounded exactly the same. I would hear occasional...
It's like Brain Stew and Jaded.
Yes.
Is that a yes, you know what I'm referencing, or are you just agreeing for the sake of it?
I'm just agreeing for the sake of agreeing.
It's the Green Day song Brain Stew.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, the dogs are now barking at something.
That's fine.
On the album, it's Brain Stew, and the immediate song after it is Jaded, and they have a very similar chord progression.
Mm-hmm.
So it literally just goes Brain Stew directly into Jaded. And like, if you're not paying attention, you almost don't notice it's two different songs.
Yeah. And like, I heard there were a few breakdowns and things like that I was like, okay, here's like the change in tempo, here's a little bit of a breakdown, but like, overall, I couldn't recognize track by track because of the fact that it was a concept album and it was telling the whole story and the music didn't stop. Like, there was no breaks between each track. That, like, I kind of got lost into it, and like I said, it's just like, alright, now that I played composing and skipped a minute and 15 and listened to the little bit of the intro, I was like, oh, you know what, I can get behind this song. I can dig this song. But I just, I didn't hear it before. Even though I listened to this album 3 times, I just didn't hear it before because it all sounded very much the same.
And I understand that, like, dreaming into waking and composing into disintegrating, especially, like, those 2 songs lead into the follow-up incredibly well. Because dreaming is a little more dreamy, I guess would be the best way to put it. Like, more of the keyboard synthesizer sort of sound to it, a little bit less hectic, I guess would be the best way to put it. Mm-hmm. Because it's supposed to be, like, basically their last night together before he has a fucking nightmare and kills her. And then as it gets to the end of that and transitions into waking, it's like this more frantic, like not heavy distortion, but more distortion on guitars and like similar chord progression and all, but like different at the same time. And if you didn't know any better, like it could just be a 7-minute song. Mm-hmm. Like it could just be that like halfway through the song, like they just changed tempo because, you know, the beat changed or whatever.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, composing ends with the drum beat that disintegrating starts on.
Pretty sure, yeah.
I think it's like the last 2 notes of composing are like the first 4 notes of disintegrating. So I do get that. I think, and Drew, you're probably in the same boat, like, because we have listened to this song for 20 years almost, like, I can just identify the songs as soon as they come on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was funny, like, I actually haven't listened to this album, like, in quite a while. And, like, I'm just like, oh, right. This one. Yeah. Though, again, Medicating. Oh, you know what? Medicating was the fucking single off of it, wasn't it?
Yes.
I was gonna say, Medicating, 2 million listens. What? That's not... What? But yeah, it was the single. So I guess that makes a little bit more sense.
But still, like, it was the single 15 years before Spotify existed.
But it's one of those things where, like, people that were listening to it then, like, remember it now, sort of thing.
Yeah. I mean, hey, Punched in the Nose has 1.5 million.
Nice.
So.
Is Medicating their highest played song? Yeah, it is.
Yeah, looks like it. I
No.
wish there was a way to just see all of them.
Yeah, it's a bummer that not a single thing off of their first album is on here.
The top 5, 4 of the top 5 is from Trainwreck on YouTube Music. And their number 2 most listened to is I Got Punched in the one you were talking about.
I got punched in the nose for sticking my face in other people's business.
Yeah, that one. It gets cut off at I got punched in the, and it gets cut off at I got punched in. So I had to hover over it to make sure it was a full one. But yeah, that's our number 2. But it's Medicating, I Got Punched, Composing, Dreaming, Waking is their top 5 on YouTube, and then Relapsing is number 6.
You know, I gotta say though, if people like, I wish out of Make Yourself Sick that like a different song was higher up. Like, while it's also another long one, I really like The Subtleties That Make Mass Murderers Out of Otherwise Decent Human Beings. Like, that's just a real good fucking song.
Mm-hmm. So Anthony asked me this the other day. If you were to pick a Boys Night Out song to get someone to listen, what would be the song you pick?
Honestly, it would probably depend on the person.
Fair.
So what song do you guys think I should listen to?
The Subtleties That Make Mass Murderers Out of Otherwise Decent Human Beings.
I mean, I would probably pick Composing. I did like Anthony's choice, too.
What was his?
It's Dylan, You Know the Drill.
You know what? That's a good one, too.
Yeah.
You know what it is? I really, like, Make Yourself Sick in particular, like, lyrically, that album is just, like, they did a really good job with lyrics on that one. Like, they're memorable and catchy. Not to, like, Composing and Broken Bones also, like, catchy, memorable lyrics. But, like, something about Make Yourself Sick, like, because they're not, it's also not a concept album.
Mm-hmm.
Cause, like, Trainwreck has some incredible verses. But, like, First Time It Shouldn't Taste Like Blood, Just Once, Let's Do Something Different, like, they have such good fucking verses in them. And Anatomy of the Journey also.
Mm-hmm.
Someone Call an Ambulance, Something's Not Right.
Even Angels Get Burned and Buried in My Backyard, and you're just like everyone else.
Yeah,
literally have it tattooed on me now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm drawing a blank on the actual verse, but fuck, I'm gonna have to look it up now because I actually can't remember it. The song title was too fucking long.
Oh, that's an album? That's the song title? It should be.
And so, Emo Hot Mulligan has a song called "This Song Is Called." It's called "What It's Called."
Yeah, no, I mean,
which was real funny hearing their singer like call out that song when they were playing it. It's That Summer. He was like, "Okay, this next song is called. This song is called What It's Called,"
which is funny.
Yes. All right. Which verse are you trying to think of, Cobb?
I see now. I can't even fucking remember it, and I don't remember exactly which song it was in either. It might have been "I Was the Devil for an Afternoon." It's been a while since I listened to a lot of these albums. No, I need lyrics, not just the fucking YouTube video. Jesus. Okay, yeah, it was "I Was the Devil for One Afternoon." The last verse. There was something in the way you turned and looked at me. I started panicking until your heartbeat stopped, until your body dropped. That will always be my favorite memory of you and me.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really fucking, I don't know. I like that line. It's morbid, but that whole album's kind of morbid though.
Yeah, it's literally all about murdering girlfriends or whatever. Like,
you know what though?
Not even that subtle.
I bet, like, Richie, you in particular, just because, like, mostly because you seem to not be a fan of Connor's singing. The songs on Broken Bones might click for you a little bit more because there's more screaming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you feel about screaming. But like that album in general is just a little like more aggressive than Trainwreck. Like Trainwreck has like the keyboards in it. It's got a little bit more of like that like pop rock influence to it.
Mm-hmm.
To like musically at least. Yeah. And Broken Bones is just a straight up fucking screamo album.
Mm-hmm.
Except for Sketch Artist. Like that one doesn't really have any screaming. But Victor versus the Victim, really good song.
Yep.
Ends with a curb stomp.
Yep.
Yeah. But yeah, I like Trainwreck. It's a good record. Richie, you don't.
No. I was bored. I was bored.
All right. Drew, anything else you want to say about Trainwreck since it was your pick?
No. Just go listen to it. It's great. Ignore what Richie says. It's so good.
Yeah. Listen to it front to back, too, or it won't make sense.
Yeah. No, listen to it back to front. Listen to Dying first.
Listen to it in reverse order, and it's about someone being resurrected.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah.
It's about several people being resurrected.
But you know what? If you listen to, like, some tracks backwards, it's not so much about being resurrected, it's about somebody being really fucking weird.
Yeah, I mean, it's about somebody having sex with dead bodies and then bringing them back to life.
I mean, they do that, like, he does that, like, 4 times throughout the album, so it, you know, It tracks. Necrophilia is okay for the patient.
As long as you bring them back to life.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so are you guys ready for my picks?
Sure.
All right, so my first one, for like an all-time favorite, is Less Than Jake's Anthem from 2003.
Okay.
So it's like ska punk. A couple of the tracks have a little more of like a reggae feel to it, but like, I don't know. Rich, you might actually like this one since you didn't dislike Catbite.
I generally like Less Than Jake.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you'd really ever listen to them.
I'm sure I've heard a few. I gotta pull up YouTube Music now and see if I have anything on my thumbs up, but I'm pretty sure I've listened to them in the past.
Yeah, to be fair, like, Anthem is an album where I think 3 or 4 of the tracks are often played at their live shows, so... Like,
I've definitely never seen them live, I know that for a fact. All My Best Friends Are Metalheads is...
That's not on this album.
I know, but I have that song liked, so, at least.
Okay. That's a good... That is actually a very good song. That's off of...
It's their second most played on YouTube.
What's their most played?
Science is for Selling Yourself Short.
Okay, so Science is for Selling Yourself Short is on Anthem. I'm actually surprised that's their most played one. Okay, Look What Happened is also up there. Actually, you know what? This is a list of songs that like actually makes more sense to be like their top 5 on Spotify at least. Metalheads is number 1. The Science of Selling Yourself Short is 2. History of a Boring Town is 3. Look What Happened is 4. And Johnny Quest Thinks We're Sellouts is 5.
Science is number 1. All My Best Friends is number 2. The Rest of My Life is number 3. History of a Boring Town is 4. Metalheads 23 is 5. And Look What Happened is 6. And Johnny Quest is 7.
Oh, right. They did, they went back and did a re-recording of some of the songs from, like, older albums. And that's what Metalheads 23 is. It's a re-recording of All My Best Friends Are Metalheads from this year.
Oh, so it's twice. It's on there. Metalheads is on there twice. Is on their top 5 twice before. Okay.
Yeah. All right. So Less Than Jake, Anthem, and then I have 3. And I'm trying to pick which one. Let's do Stand Atlantic F.E.A.R from 2022.
Okay.
Wait, was there a band name there?
Stand Atlantic is the band name.
Okay.
They're an Australian pop punk band.
Okay. You said it all like kind of at once, and it sounded like that was the whole Stand Atlantic F.E.A.R was the whole either album or band name.
Yeah. So F.E.A.R is the album name, and it's like F.E.A.R.
First Encounter Assault and Recon?
Yes.
Okay. I had to remember.
I actually have no idea.
There was a game called F.E.A.R. F. Blah blah blah.
Oh,
and
that's right.
It was an acronym for an organization in the game called F.E.A.R. First Encounter Assault Recon, which is like, how do you do? You're not supposed to do assault and recon. It's supposed to be one or the other. But it was a horror first person shooter.
Nice. I do vaguely remember that one.
It was a good one.
Yeah. Just for reference, the other 2 I was trying to decide between were Real Friends, There's Nothing Worse Than Too Late, and Sincere Engineer, Bless My Psyche.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been some sort of like emo pop punk band regardless. But yeah, so those are the things. 2 weeks, right? Yeah, 2 weeks from now, we'll listen to Anthem and F.E.A.R.
Nice.
Now, Rich, you finally beat Final Fantasy.
Finally. Let me tell you guys. Oh my god. There's a reason action games don't go more than like 15 hours. It was exhausting. Let me tell you.
What do you mean? Fucking God of War is like 25.
That's an open world game. It's different. Yeah, you've even said it. Like, it's very... Final Fantasy, at least for the first, like, 20 hours, is very fucking linear.
Like, does it open up?
It does. It does, in a sense, kind of. So, yeah, the intro of the game is just very linear, and throughout the game it is very, like, do this stuff, and then go here and do the quest. And, like, the main story stuff is generally level-based. You can't go back to those locations. But, like, there is exploration, but there's no point for exploration. So, my running joke right now is, welcome to Final Fantasy VII, where everything's made up and the points don't matter. Not Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy 16, where everything's made up and the points don't matter. Literally nothing matters. I ended the game with thousands and thousands of crafting supplies. You get...
Like, what is there to even craft in that game?
Weapons and armors. But you don't need that many supplies.
But not only that, like, at some point, does are you able to craft things that are better than just what the store seems to stock every time you like progress in the game?
You can upgrade the sword into stronger sword. So the sword you buy in the shop, say you're buying from Karen and you buy the sword, that is a level 1 sword, or as a base sword. Then you can upgrade it to +1 and +2, or you can craft initially +1 sword and then craft it into +2. However, again, everything's made up and the points don't matter. Plus basic sword, let's say, I'll give a random number, is 55 damage. Sword +1 is 51 damage. Sword +2 is 53 damage. So there's not
that's extra points of damage.
That's not significant though. You're doing 50,000 points of damage throughout. Like, yeah, so if I do 10 hits against an enemy, I just missed out on 30 points of damage. However their calculations and breakdowns are. Like, it's not significant enough to need to do it, but do it. Because the thing is, upgrading from +2 weapon to the next weapon up is a good, like, 20, 25 points of damage, something like that. It is an adequate amount of change. But overall, like, you're leveling up from, you don't need to bother worrying about leveling up after, say, level 45. Because A, it takes way too fucking long to get enough experience to level up from 45 to 46, and the change of stats from 45 to 50 is probably at most 15 points per stat. It's not. You don't need to worry about it, because it is not significant enough. They added they added this stuff to be able to say it's an RPG, but it's just really, it lacks major RPG necessities. This game, but don't get me wrong, I absolutely love this game. I'm just still arguing that they shouldn't have made it an RPG. They shouldn't have forced the RPG into this game. They really shouldn't have. Because that's what it felt like. It felt like adding the crafting, adding the level ups, or the experience, they were forcing it to be an RPG. And they didn't need it to be. But like, besides that aspect of the game, it's a very fun game. I absolutely enjoyed it. Except for when I was at the very end of the game, I had one major mission left, and 4.5 hours worth of side quests left. And none of those side quests had reasonable rewards. Literally, one of the side quest rewards was that a character is then going to be with you until you go to the end of the game as a partner character. Which, I picked up that I talked to that character before I went to do all my side quests, and they wanted to come with me to go do a side quest. And guess what? They were with me for every side quest I did before I finished his side quest. So why did that reward have to be a reward? Now, if I had done that first, or if I had not picked up that side quest, then he wouldn't have been with me, I assume? I don't know. But, like, it was the dumbest reward, because then immediately after that, you run a quest, and when you get that quest done, it's, hey, this character now is with you until you go to the end of the game. That was the last side quest I did. That was literally the last thing I could do.
I will say, like, the quote-unquote party makeup of the game was probably one of the biggest letdowns for me in playing it.
The fact that you can't actually change your party or set your party, again, there's drawbacks to calling this game an RPG. The fact that I couldn't really load out my character to play as more than sword guy was limiting the game and to where I'm like, all right, this really isn't an RPG. Yes, I tried to make this argument with my brother, and he's like, well, Cloud was a sword guy and Squall was a sword guy. I'm like, yeah, but those are different games. Those are games where you had control of other characters. Just because it's a main character doesn't mean I have to be a sword guy. Like, I wanted more R in my RPG.
Wanted more role?
Or RP in my RPG. But, like, overall, like, the game worked, but yeah, you're right. Like, the party makeup and the fact that you couldn't choose who was coming out with you, and how basically from point to point to point, it's one specific character is going to be with you throughout the game, and, like, they don't really do much. Like, you always have Torgal with you, and then you have one other character. So throughout the beginning part of the game, it's generally Sid. And then eventually it's Sid and somebody else. and then eventually it's that somebody else, and it's just that somebody else, and then eventually it's two other people, and then one of those disappears and it's just the one person, but like, they do a little bit of damage. It tends to happen where I kill about 5 enemies before they can kill one.
Yeah, and that is actually more what I meant versus being able to like pick who's in the party. Because like even games where you pick your party's actions, a lot of times like you are kind of forced to use a certain set of characters for the majority. But like, and what I played in the I don't know 10 hours or whatever that I played of it. Like you said, I had the dog and I had Sid. They did nothing. Yeah. And like the dog was cool because he could heal, but like Cure in that game sucks. It's fucking useless.
Well, no, the problem with Cure in this game is it only cures your injury. It doesn't heal you. So like, say you have 500 HP, you take a 200 hit. You have you take full 200, but you have a translucent bar for 100 additional damage. Cure only heals that 100 additional damage, and it won't cure any more than that.
And it regens it. It doesn't heal it instantly. It's heal over time.
Yeah, but it's a faster heal over time, because if you don't use Cure, then like it does still heal over time, and it's a little bit slower. But yeah, it was kind of pointless. Like the fact that there are trophies and trophies to get like Torgal to be able to do a certain thing with Sick and with Ravage. I didn't do those because honestly, I most of the time forgot to control Torgal because I'm doing so much other button presses, having to remember to switch my icon, to use what ability, to be able to dodge and then I'm missing the icon I'm going, so I have to cycle through them again. There's a lot of frustrations, even though it sounds like it's bad. It's fun and it works. And when you can get into a rhythm, it really works very well. But then
you're right though. Like the button stuff, like in general, the controls for this game are bad. They tried to do too much with a console controller. I can't tell you the number of times where I didn't realize I wasn't on Torgal. And I fucking used all my potions.
Just wait until you have more than 3. Wait until you have 3 icons. Like you already only have.
Like I said, I'm probably not going back to this game.
Like if you want to play a good action game, definitely go play it. If you want the story, I feel like the story is very good. I feel like there wasn't a lot of confusion. There wasn't a lot of misunderstanding with what was going on. There wasn't a lot of like, oh, this is too crazy. Like it kind of made sense. And the story that they're trying to tell about, spoilers, yes or no?
Yeah, you might as well, because like I said, I don't know. If I go back to it, I honestly don't know.
The story that they're telling basically about Ultima, this higher being, not looking, or pretty much ignoring these creatures, humans, that he made to become all-powerful, and then these humans actually becoming more powerful than Ultima because of how they live their life and how they have become to free themselves of his control. Like, it is a very good story. It's a good story showing that, like, the people up top, not paying attention to people down bottom, are gonna get destroyed by the people down the bottom eventually. And, like, it doesn't overreach, and honestly, it's kind of a sad bummer ending, but it's also, they finally did the thing. After 16 games, they finally had Final Fantasy in some sort of dialogue or whatever. One of the last things you see is one of the main characters wrote a book called Final Fantasy. But yeah, it's overall, it's very good and enjoyable. And I would love to say that this is one of the best games I played in a long time, but there are so many minor issues that push that away from being able to be one of the best games of all time. Like, it is a really good game and one of the better games I've played in a long time. But it is a far cry to say it's one of the best. Like, such a minor complaint that would really help this game out. Let me sprint while in a town. Because there are a few times you have to go into a town when doing side quests or whatever, where you just have to lightly jog. And like, I'm just trying to get this side quest done. Let me run to my next location. Also, streamline being able to get on your chocobo. Because in order to ride your chocobo, you have to hold R3 while outside of a town. You have to hold R3 and
Whoa, spoilers, you get to ride chocobos?
You get Ambrosia back. I just told you the end of the fucking game. Of course. But you get Ambrosia back. To ride Ambrosia, you have to hold
Ambrosia?
His chocobo from the beginning, during the beginning of the game that defended him.
Oh, when you're a little kid?
Yeah.
Man, how the fuck long do chocobos live in this world?
Torgal's fucking 20-something years old.
Okay, that's fair.
But like, you have to hold R3 and a little circle will fill up. And then he whistles. And then you have to go up to it and you have to hit X to climb up onto your chocobo. Which, alright, you have to call your chocobo and then you have to climb on your chocobo. Fine, maybe streamline that a bit. Maybe once I hit R3, the chocobo comes out and you get right on it. Don't make me have to wait and hit that extra button. To dismount your chocobo, you have to hold R3 to let the bar fill up. So if there's a couple of enemies you want to go fight, it's easier just to have the enemy hit you and knock you off the enemy, or faster to have the enemy just hit you and knock you off of the chocobo than it is to hold the button and wait the second or two for it to activate and then for him to climb off the chocobo. It's like,
that's fucking dumb.
The chocobo is only a little bit faster than when Clive runs, because while out on the field, Clive, as you start to jog, will eventually just start doing a sprint. The chocobo is only a little bit faster. There were times that it was faster to not call the chocobo and just run there.
Like, I don't know. Like I said, like, the combat for that game, I did enjoy.
Yeah.
But, like, everything else, like, the story was boring, the environments were uninspired, and the controls were just, they were completely unintuitive. And because it's a game where it's taking some, like, of the Souls style thing and limiting, like, items.
Yeah.
Where, like, yeah, you can only have 4 potions and 4 high potions. And if you're just trying to get Torgal to cast heal and sick or whatever, you may have just accidentally spammed all of your potions and now you're completely fucked for a boss battle.
Yeah. And it's, I kept forgetting how to lock on. Lock on is L1 of all buttons.
And it never seemed to work the way I wanted it to. Like, as soon as, like, you don't stay locked on.
You do. If you
it
lock
focuses.
Your camera might not have been set properly, because there's a way to set the camera to where, like, it always stays on the locked on enemy. But if you don't have your camera set that way, the camera's not going to stay on the locked on enemy. You're just going to lock on and always attack towards the enemy.
Yeah, you might be right, because I was having an issue where I'd hit the lock on and it would focus on them for a minute. But then if I, like, maneuvered my camera to, like, make sure I wasn't running into something else, it would stop locking onto that enemy and I'd have to do it again.
I don't know. I forgot how to lock on until 20 hours into the fucking game. And then,
that's fair.
Like, I didn't know there was a lock on, really. Like, I'm sure they told me once, but, like, I played most of the game without it. And then, like, I kept forgetting how to lock on. The icon fights are fantastic. Fighting all of the different summons, or at least the few that you fight. You don't get to fight them all, but of the ones that you get to fight, they are great, with the exception of Odin. I was let down with Odin's fight, because I feel like there was a point in this game, from pretty much the point that you encounter to fight Odin, to the point right before you go to the end of the game, when you're first talking with Ultima. Or finally, or not first, last talking to Ultima right before the end. There's a whole segment here that feels very Evangelion. We ran out of time and money, so we're just going to tell you what happened.
That's the best way.
And it was like, Ultima is trying to tell you, like, here's how I came to be, here's how the world came to be, here's why things are the way they are. And all it is him talking. They're not animating it, they're not showing it. It's just him talking while rocks are forming and then a sigil shows. And it's the same sigil on each of the rocks. And I'm like, why aren't you showing me this? I'm like, did you run out of time? Because, like, even the Odin fight, you're in your full prime icon state fighting Odin for less than 10 seconds. You fight You fight Odin as Clive, not as Ifrit, which was such a letdown, because, like, I was the fight before that, the fight that you have with Bahamut, goes so off the wall Azura's Wrath style fight. It's fucking amazing. And then you fight Odin as Clive. And it's just such a super letdown and boring and slow. I'm like, this sucks. This makes no sense at all. And then the final fight, the final sequences are again amazing and awesome. It's just like, it felt like they ran out of time and money. And then, the side quests, there's a lot of side quests that don't really have much reward to them. I remember there was one side quest that I got so mad about yesterday, because going into right before the end of the game, the second, right before you fight Odin, who is the second to last, is the last icon you fight before you go to fight Ultima for the first time. You go to a town that's been basically deserted because everyone's been turned into zombie type things, and there's a pregnant woman there. And you're like, alright, hey, Gav, you stay here, I gotta go fight Odin. You come back, and it's like, alright, Gav, take the pregnant woman back to the hideaway. We're gonna go fight Ultima. And you go fight Ultima. And then it goes through everything, and then you unlock the final fight and all of the side quests, which took me 4 hours. 4 hours, from 6 to 10, to do all of the last side quests of the game. One of them was, you go talk to Gav, and he's like, this pregnant lady that we found, I'm in love with now, and I'm going to be the stepdad to this child, that literally we've known each other for a day or two, and I want to make a thing for this child, so I need you, the leader of this organization, to find me a silver chocobo feather. So you go
fucking dumb.
Oh, it gets worse. You go find the silver chocobo feather and you bring it to him, and he's like, "Thank you so much," and he makes the thing that he wanted to make as a memento. And Clive's like, "Send her my regards." He's like, "Why don't you send them yourself? I'm gonna go see her now. Why don't you come with me?" I literally looked at my screen and yelled, "I don't care about this woman I just met. Why do I have to do this?" Which obviously,
side quests.
The answer is I didn't have to do it, but it was just, there was a lot of really nothingness. That side quests they were literally there to fluff the game and not there to help progress. Many of the side quest rewards at the end of the game were just rewards to get a trophy to be put into Clive's trophy room so that you can say that you did everything. And it's frustrating. Fighting there, at one point they unlock hunts, big monster hunts. Those were fun because those enemies were fun to fight. It's always stronger, enhanced versions of smaller monsters and things like that. This is where you fight the King Behemoth. It's where you fight a dragon. And just a bunch of different enemies. Those were really fun. Those were really good. But again, the rewards were crafting supplies to make different weapons, which at the end of the game, once I crafted the ultimate weapon, which is an Ultima weapon. You only get that when you unlock Final Fantasy mode. I'll get to that in a second. It's not Ultima weapon. It's something else. It's got some sort of German name. I don't even really know how to pronounce it. And then the last two accessories, which was Ouroboros and Sons of Ouroboros, which the Sons of Ouroboros, which is the last accessory you can make, technically isn't even the strongest accessory, because there is a side quest that you can do that gives you an accessory that, if you compare the two, one gives you 1 point more health, the other one gives you 1 point more defense.
Yeah, that's a waste of time.
It is. It's absolutely a waste of time. Everything's made up and the points don't matter. You beat the game, it's all great, the story's great, it's emotional, it's sad, but it's happy, and it ends on a happy note, and then they tell you unlock New Game Plus. Awesome, I unlocked New Game Plus. And I was worried, what's going to be the point of New Game Plus? Because, I'm level 49 of 50, there's no point in upgrading any of my icon abilities because I have my ability set, so there's going to be zero progress. What's the point of New Game Plus? Oh, also you unlocked Final Fantasy mode, which is a harder game, and level cap is now 100, and you can combine your pre-made weapons with the same weapon type to make them stronger, and then you can get to level 100 now, and that's level cap, by the way, is 100 and not 50, and that's where I'm, alright, it's going to take, because I looked this up, I told you guys before, it's going to take 20 hours to do New Game Plus after skipping everything and not doing side quests. I'm done. That's just too much.
I don't blame you.
I want to do it. I enjoyed the game enough to want to do it, but at least right now, it ain't happening. Like, I want to see what this New Game Plus was, because they did really good with the hard mode in Final Fantasy VII Remake. I personally think the best way to play Final Fantasy VII Remake was on hard mode, and I wish that was available right away, because it made playing the game, you had to actually strategize playing the game. You had to actually think about what spells you were using and manage your MP, because you couldn't use items. But this, I don't know how much they're going to be able to enhance the gameplay by just making it harder. I don't know if it's going to be worth the difficulty, because there's only so much I can take of that gameplay that I have everything unlocked now. So it's just going to be me getting stronger weapons at this point, and that's it. Which is just going to be no progress, no change in progress, and just boring. Because it's going to be me using the same abilities for 20 hours.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like any fun.
Unless they alter how the abilities work or unlock more abilities in Final Fantasy mode. Who knows? I don't know. I will say though, Odin, best ability. Shiva and Bahamut fucking suck so much. So you have Garuda at least, right? You had Garuda?
Yeah, I have Phoenix and Garuda, and that's it.
So your circle with Garuda was to grab and pull them. When you get Titan, he has a block. When you get Ramu, you can actually target multiple enemies, and then if you hit them with the target and then attack them, it chain lightnings things. Shiva's is another dodge, like Phoenix's.
Oh.
But the only difference is if you get a perfect dodge. And this one is a dodge and not like a dash. And if you get a perfect dodge, it'll flash freeze them. But you need that perfect dodge to get that. And then fucking Bahamut's. You hit circle and he starts charging up Mega Flare. And it's up to 5 levels, I think. And you can't attack. You can't do anything while charging. But if you dodge abilities, it charges faster. And then when you use it finally, it randomly hits the battlefield. It's constant random attacks on the battlefield. This sucks.
That's dumb.
Odin's was by far the best, because you pull out your Odin weapon, you don't charge your limit gauge when you have Odin's weapon out. And every attack, every maneuver you do using Odin's weapon fills up a gauge up to 5 levels, and it fills up pretty fast. Up to 5 levels. If it's at level 5 and you hold square to attack, it's an instant kill on all small enemies, or all enemies that don't have a stagger bar, and it's at least 20 to 30,000 damage on stronger. And it's badass and it's awesome. And with Odin's abilities, for instance, I kept using his ultimate, which refills fast. It charges that up. If you have a certain object, a certain accessory, it will charge it up to level 4 in one use of Odin's ultimate ability. So then you only have to fill it up a little bit. The only downside is it doesn't hit as hard as your normal attacks. But you kind of hit more often and more frequently. So it might be similar DPS. But that was the best ability. But yeah, Final Fantasy XVI, man, it is somehow still one of the better games I've played in a long time. But also kind of
I think it's funny that you just spent the last 20 minutes bitching about how bad everything is. You're like, it's a really good game though. Everybody.
It is though. It is. There are like I said, there's a lot of really good things about this game, but then there's just a lot of small, minor, not great things about this game. And the minor, not good things bring it down and are the things I have the complaints about. Whereas the good things are I love this, and I enjoyed the story a lot. I didn't think it was too over the top. I didn't think it was too ridiculous. I loved the gameplay. I just thought the game was too long. I enjoyed some of the side content. I just thought maybe others were just unnecessary or too much. Maybe, again, too long. I wish there were better rewards for doing the side stuff, but I enjoyed doing the side stuff. It's a lot of I like this, but I need this more. I like that, but this needs to happen. Kind of back and forth, which makes it somehow one of the better games you can play, but also somehow some of the worst, or not the worst, but one of like the most mediocre games.
That's fair. Speaking of mediocre though, how's Remnant?
So I played with people who are who have been playing since last week. So I got it on Saturday. And they had been playing since like the 22nd or whatever. They'd been playing since it was pre-released. And having played Remnant 1, I didn't think it was going to really matter too much. It does. Apparently levels in this one matter a lot more, and there was a few times that I just wasn't having a good time because they were so much stronger than me. And I probably would have had a better time if I were stronger. But overall, it is a slightly enhanced version of Remnant, where it's a little bit difficult. It's Souls meets Destiny. I'm playing as the medic class, but like I'm kind of wasted playing as a medic class because they're so strong, and I'm not. I'm the only one who's really taking as much damage to need healing, but I'm also never taking any damage because they're killing things in a hit or two. And once I catch up to them, it might be a little bit more reasonable, but like I'm kind of just trying to make my way through the story so I can get into the end game content because that's where these games shine. Visually it looks really good. Story is not really like, it's nothing to write home about. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying it a lot. I knew I wasn't gonna have as much to say about this as I was about Final Fantasy. But
that's why I figured mediocre at best.
Yeah, I wouldn't say mediocre. It's a good game. If you liked the first one, you're definitely going to like this.
Well, you were actually pretty high on the first one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the first one. I had a lot of fun playing the first one. But like I made them like play as new characters for the first bit of it, and then once I realized, level doesn't matter in this game really. Like whatever your level is doesn't really matter. Like you're only getting up to 20% increases in this or that or the other. It's really whatever your build loadout was which made it more worth it. In this one, it's more of an RPG style where like the experience you gain, you get limited trait points. So once you get 60 trait points, once you reach level 60, that's all you have across. Or no, not level 60, but once you reach 60 trait points in general, that's all you have across all of your different traits. So you then have to build out your character and respec every time you go to do different builds, different characters, and different classes. The class system actually matters this time because they get specific abilities that others don't, and you can't swap them in or out. I'm playing as the medic, so I have my ultimate ability is like a heal, where I send out an aura and everyone around me heals over time and gets shield at that time. And whereas like they're playing as like the fighter, which is the close range guy, and I don't really know what they have, and I haven't really been able to pay too much attention to what they have. Because like if I stay too close to them and they shoot me, I die in generally one hit. Like that is how strong their weapon is. But yeah, it is good so far. What I played, I am enjoying it. It seems to be still, even like 2 weeks in or a week and a half in, it's still pretty buggy. They haven't fixed some things. Like there's just like general connection errors, and there was a error in the first game where it'd be like, oh, such and such character is waiting at the crystal, but no one's waiting there, and it would be stuck there until you load into the next screen. That's still in this one somehow.
Gee.
Which is like, I mean, it's not like a game-breaking glitch or anything like that, but it's still like, how is this not fixed? What did you not fix about this? But I haven't really played with any of the other characters or classes. I want to play as the handler, the dog class, but I'm told like it kind of isn't all that great because a lot of the enemies you fight are in the air, and he's stuck on the ground. So he's kind of stuck being support and healing instead of attacking. But yeah, I need to put more time into it, but what I've played so far, I did enjoy. And I am interested in continuing that world more. It's probably play that on Sunday. I would have played that more this week if I had just beaten Final Fantasy sooner.
Well, maybe if you were better.
Look, I did everything and only reached level 49.5. I'm so mad I didn't reach 50. You got no experience for the final fight. You got no rewards for the final fight.
Oh, that's stupid.
Which, like, kind of makes sense because it's the final fight. There's nothing else. You can't continue forward except for if you go into New Game Plus, and I'm sure if you jump into your save, it'll put you before the final fight. So like it kind of makes sense, but still, it's like that would have put the experience from the final fight probably would have put me in 50 and gotten me that trophy.
Oh, that's extra lame that there's a trophy.
I think it's a level 50 trophy, or it might be level 100. I really don't know.
Maybe both.
Yeah, I think there's only one. I'm just not sure which one. I think it's just like reach the level cap or reach level 50 or something.
So, a quick question on Remnant. How does it... So you said you're playing with people that were like higher level than you, and you were running into... Basically, you had to just stand in the back and not die?
Yeah.
So, does it like show enemy levels?
It does. There are enemy levels, and everything was level 5, where I was level 1 or 2.
Okay. Because Diablo 4 does something really interesting that I had never thought would really even be possible in a game.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you're in a party, or really even if you're just, because it's all open, it's MMO-ish, and there's just always random ass people running around, with the exceptions of certain areas and like the Nightmare Dungeon, all the enemies like dynamically level to. So like if I'm level 40 and I'm playing with someone who's level 12, the enemies they're fighting are level 12, but the same enemy for me is level 40.
Yeah, so I've see that's one thing I hate about, well, not hate, but like I appreciate that they do that in some games, but then that again, like that kind of takes away the point of leveling up, because like that makes it, what they do is they scale your damage to a general number basically. So across everyone, you're all doing the same amount of damage. Because there's been other games I've played that have done the same thing, where like if there's people who are higher level and you're lower level, it scales your damage to a midpoint for everyone, and it scales the health and the enemies' damage to a midpoint. So the lower level enemy is still hitting a little bit harder, but not like super hard to where it's going to kill you in one hit. It's just like, but then like when you think about it, it's like, well, what's the point of reaching level 44 if I can run around in the same world as a level 1? And the level 1's going to be able to keep up with it. I like that they do that, but also at the same time, I'm like, man, it's kind of weird and lame. But I also don't really know the overworld concept of Diablo 4 and how much that might change gameplay, or how often you are going to be running into somebody who's that much stronger than you doing the same stuff. So I don't really know if that like really messes with things.
I mean, you run into just people kind of a fair amount. But they have then like world tiers where eventually you'll stop seeing people. Once you are like, you won't see people over level 50 in world tier 1 or 2, with rare exception. And you really won't see people over like level 70 in world tier 3, because they'll all be in world tier 4, because that's kind of where the levels of the monsters stop, is like 50, 70. But I don't know, like it's good from okay, well, it's not like I have to go to specifically ones and to fight the things that are the level that I am standpoint, but also like you said, kind of weird to be like, well, I'm level 40 and here's a level 2 killing things. Like, it's weird, but it's also weird to be like, oh, hey, that thing literally says a different level number for the two of us in a party.
Yeah.
I was letting you guys go because you both seemed more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know very little about these games other than like what Richie has said previously. So,
well, I think like Drew, I know you had a bit of a time with the first Remnant, and you probably cut out of that shortly after. I don't know if you ever tried to pick it back up again. I don't know how much this one has changed in a circumstance of like loot and things like that, but there is a reason to have different classes. There is a build system now in this one that like you might be more interested in Remnant 2. Wait for it to be on sale. It's not worth $50 right now for you. Like you're not that into it. Wait for it to be free or get a demo or whatever. I spent $70 because it gave me the DLC as well. Like I bought the deluxe version. Games are normally $70 now anyway, so I'm used to it. But I got the deluxe version to get the DLC when that comes out. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoy it. We're gonna get more into it over the next couple of weeks. It's now like the new main game on stream. but also stream is going.
Okay.
Stream is kind of turning into like a different game every day right now because I don't have any set game that I really feel like I have to beat right away, and I just want to play what I want to play right now because I am tired of having super long games.
That is totally valid.
Freaking, I think this is the most RPGs I've beaten in a year in my life.
It might be the most RPGs period you've beaten.
No, I mean, no, I honestly probably can, with the exception of like 21 and 22, because I didn't really play a lot of well, no, I played Monster Hunter Stories 2, which I still never beat because I just kind of fell in it. Like with the exception,
again, you didn't beat it.
What's that?
You didn't beat it.
No,
it doesn't count.
But like with the exception of those 2 years. I used to play a lot of RPGs. Like I have Final Fantasy VII Remake. I guess, well, I mean, it was an expansion, but like Yuffie's Story. Like those are longer games. I used to do like at least one RPG a year. I enjoy RPGs. Like I remember, what was it? Last Remnant. It was on the 360. That game was great.
I remember that game.
That game was great. That was a sad story too. Sad ending. And then, I can't remember other RPGs. I never played, was it Infinite Undiscovery was one of them?
That was a game, yes.
Yeah, I think that was one that I might have never beaten, actually. I can't remember if I beat that. Because that was like...
There's also Lost Odyssey.
I had never played Lost Odyssey, I know that. And I know I didn't really want to at the time because all of the sad story stuff was Evangelion. They just wrote it in images and you had to read that. And I was like, fuck this.
Oh, right.
Yeah. But I know Infinite Undiscovery had like a very weird, interesting battle system. Also, Lost Rhapsody, fantastic RPG. I think that's what it was. Is it Lost Rhapsody or...
So look, my big question for you.
Uh-huh.
When are you going to get to Mega Man Battle Network? The best RPGs.
I don't know. It's gonna be a while. Before I play any RPGs in general.
That's disappointing. I'm disappointed.
I need a break from them.
You're disappointed.
Was it Bach that the game was about? Eternal Sonata, not Lost Arms.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're thinking of classical music, you're thinking of Eternal Sonata.
Eternal Sonata was such a good fucking game. It was Chopin too, not even Bach.
Blue Dragon, another RPG.
I never actually really played through Blue Dragon. I never beat it. I played I played a little bit of it, never beat it.
Legend of Dragoon, another RPG.
Such a good RPG, another one I've never been able to beat. And it's just
Drew, you're a fan of that one, aren't you?
Yeah, I've never beaten that one either, though. Like, I feel like I've gotten to the second disc. Pretty sure I have a copy of it sitting right here.
I'm pretty sure there's a copy of it behind me on the shelf right now. I know that's one of the games that like people have been like wanting a remake or remaster of, like just some sort of like modern updating to it.
I'm pretty sure they're working on it.
I don't think anything's been like officially confirmed. It's just a lot of rumors.
Yeah, no, definitely nothing confirmed that I've ever seen. I think just a lot of people wanting it.
So like there've been like some developers that have been like, that would be cool. And I think it might have been on one of those like weird leak lists for like the Nvidia Shield or something like that.
Oh no, what it is, it's on PS Plus Premium is what it is what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay.
I do remember that.
Like it was like a slight, like maybe a little bit of an up-res or something like that, but nothing like major.
Nice. Well, you want to move on and do the last little thing real quick?
Yeah, let's go, because we've been going long.
We have. That's why I'm trying to move us along, you and your fucking games to play.
Okay, I tried to stop Remnant like 10 minutes ago.
So I finished Dragon Ball Z. It's done. It's over. It actually ended in the mid-90s, so, I'm late to the game, but I finished it.
How was it?
You know what? It was fun. I enjoyed it. It's one of those series where it is very easy to read. Like,
I'd imagine.
Like, you just, all of a sudden, like you're like, I'm going to read a chapter, and then all of a sudden, like, an hour goes by, and you've read, like, 14 chapters, 15 chapters, 20 chapters, however many. And it's not, the manga is actually pretty different from the anime, because, like, the anime, obviously, like, there's the filler, but, there are some scenes that play out differently, and scenes that just hit differently when it's animated and everything. A lot of the Super Saiyan transformations actually don't feel as impactful in the manga.
Are you saying 5 minutes of somebody screaming is needed to realize how much of an impact Super Saiyan transformations are? And the change of color from black to yellow hair?
So, I mean, you get the color change in theory because it goes from black to not colored at all.
True.
But no, so, like, even in the original, in Dragon Ball Z, when Goku goes Super Saiyan for the first time, he does not scream for 5 minutes. That's Super Saiyan 3. That scene, that's fucking crazy. It is one fucking panel, maybe two, in the manga. It is literally like 15 minutes of Goku screaming as the anime flashes to all the characters going, what is that power? Is that Goku? What the fuck is he doing?
Yeah, I remember that.
And you never get to see it, but Vegeta's in the afterlife. This son of a bitch held back. He said he wasn't going to hold back, and he fucking held back. Mm-hmm. But, so in the manga, like, this, like, Super Saiyan transformation is just, like, it's a page. Like, Krillin goes boom, Goku tells Gohan to go away. It's like laid out similarly. Like the scenes that you can like picture in your head of Goku doing like transforming for the first time, like that is how it's drawn. It's just in the show it takes a little bit longer. There's a little more drama to it. Seeing him seeing him actually flash between the black and yellow hair as like it stands up, like it just hits different animated than it does on the page. Same thing like when Gohan. Actually, both times Gohan transforms are, like, when he becomes a Super Saiyan for the first time in the anime and the manga, it's very much downplayed. Like, it's almost like okay, yeah, like, we basically told you this is what we were going to do, so it's not a big deal. But, like, the anime still made it feel a little bit more important. I feel like the manga, it just fucking happened. Like, they're sparring, and then all of a sudden his hair is just not colored in. And then he's back to normal, and Goku's like, "Cool, you did it. We're gonna go give you a haircut now." And in the anime, I remember like there was like conversation between the two of them in the anime where like Gohan felt like he was holding Goku back because Goku wasn't able to focus on getting stronger himself because he was focusing on getting Gohan to transform first, and then him arguing with him, like egging him on to actually use his full power because an enemy wasn't going to hold back. So, like, how is that going to get him where he needs to be? Mm-hmm. And then, like, there's, like, the scenes of him actually transforming, and it is brief because, like, it is not as important since it happens during, like, basically during the training arc. But there's even less of it in the manga. It really is, like, just 2 panels. And then, again, like, when he goes Super Saiyan 2 for the first time, it is drawn out a little too much in the anime because it's like end of one episode, beginning of the next episode. So it's just, it feels like a lot, but the build up to that, like the Cell Juniors attacking everybody, Hercule having to like carry Android 16's head, the android's like full like speech and everything. It just felt more impactful in the anime in a way. Mm-hmm. It was still cool to see it that way. And like, I feel like people don't often give Toriyama, like, the credit. Like, that dude fucking could draw. I don't know how much he still does, like, art now, because I know he is not drawing Dragon Ball Super. But, like, this stuff from, like Dragon Ball and Z from, like, the 80s into the early 90s fucking looks better than a lot of the shit that is being released today. Like, I would rather see art that looks like Dragon Ball over, like, what I'm getting out of My Hero right now. Because, like, My Hero's, like, they're very different styles, but like My Hero is just very chaotic. There's too much going on the panel. It's fucking hard to figure out what the hell, like who's who and what's happening between them. Whereas like, during the second tournament arc in the original Dragon Ball, it's when Tien and Chaozu were introduced. There's a fight where Goku does a thing and the announcer and like the other people basically have to like be like, not even the announcer, because he has no fucking clue what's going on. But everyone's like, oh, Goku just hit him 3 times. And if you, like, flip back a page and look at the image of Goku, like, hitting the person, his arm is drawn in triplicate. It's drawn, like, not with motion blur, but, like, so you can tell that, like, there was, like, fast movement there. And it's 3, indicating that he hit him 3 times. And, like, it's clear as day. Like, it's not like you have to squint and turn the page. Like, you just have to look at that one panel on the page and you're like, oh shit, like he actually hit him 3 times. Like, it's a small enough detail that you're not going to notice if you're just reading normally. But like if you go back, flip the page, and look at it, you're like, oh, holy shit! Like, yeah, that is right there on the page, and just all the movement. Like he's very simple with what he does. Like he just uses like lines to like indicate like movement, like straight or vertical, depending on which direction they're going in, and like it perfectly shows you that like, oh, Goku and Tien are moving incredibly fast in opposite directions. Like, easy. But, like, so clear, so crisp. Like, it conveys what's happening, without you having to read the words to see what's happening. And, like, that's what that sort of medium is supposed to do. You're supposed to be able to look at a comic book or, like, manga and be like, these pictures are telling a story. Like, the words are expanding on that story, but the pictures are telling the story. Mm-hmm. And fucking Toriyama's art is telling the story. And that's just impressive. Because 30 years old? Almost 40. Because Dragon Ball is almost 40.
Yeah.
And also, like, Dragon Ball, very pleasant. Like, it has its problems. Like, all of the sexual humor in it is just, when you're, like, young, and, like, if, like, you watch this on, like, Cartoon Network in, like, 2000, like, you don't necessarily pick up on, like, how fucking gross some of this stuff is, but, like, that stuff is, like, it's bad. Like, it was unnecessary, but, like, there's enough good to go around it that, like, it doesn't make you forget that stuff happened, but it's, like, this is still an enjoyable series, even for its problems. Which, I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And, like, in some cases, like, the problems in the manga, like, they definitely play them up more in some cases in the anime, from what I remember. Like, the one that sticks out the most is at the end of Z. When Gohan is training with the old Kai, like getting his powers unlocked, Goku bribes him with, he initially tries to tell Gohan that he had to make Videl, like, do something with him. But then when Gohan declines, he then changes his mind and goes, oh, I'll just get Bulma. And, like, in Goku's head, like, it's not a big deal, but it's still kind of messed up, and the anime just, I feel like I remember the anime, them, like, dwelling on it more, and making it seem more vulgar than what the manga did. The manga was just like, hey, I'll introduce you to a pretty lady. Which, like, still has its problems, because Goku is first offering up a teenager, and then offering up, like, somebody against their will to meet, like, this creepy old alien man. But, like, it's not overtly sexual, the way the anime did it. That's my rant on that. But yeah, enjoyable. I don't have to read Dragon Ball again. I do have to catch up on Super. Like, I'm curious what they're doing with that, and I'm like several months behind, but that is a monthly book now, so it's not, like, several months is only like maybe 6 chapters. But good times. Good times. I recommend going and reading Dragon Ball. All of it is on the Shonen Jump app. You can just do the, it's split between the 2 series, so Dragon Ball and Z. And I think they have up from the entire Saiyan and Frieza sagas. They have a version on Shonen Jump that's actually colored, so it's not just the black and white.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. I don't know that they've gone any further than that, but I know they have up through the Frieza saga done. So, yeah, that's all. Dragon Ball, it's fun. I like it. Nice. Kid Goku, definitely better than adult Goku.
I mean, like, adult Goku's the worst dad ever, so...
You know what? In the anime, in the manga, he is, but he also isn't as bad.
He's the worst dad ever in the manga, just not as bad as in the anime. The adaptation that more people have seen.
Yeah. And, like, he's definitely worse in Super.
The anime had a lot more just random bullshit for him to be a bad dad in.
Yeah.
My favorite thing that I noticed in the manga during, I want to say it was during the Cell Saga. Yeah. It was in the, like, the bit after Gohan and Goku get out of the training chamber, the Room of Spirit and Time, and, like, they're just chilling for that week before the tournament. Goku is driving a car, which means that somewhere in this timeline, the fucking episode where Piccolo and Goku go get their driver's licenses happened.
But they never got their driver's license.
They never show it on panel in the manga because that was a filler episode, but that scene in the manga means that Goku went and got a driver's license.
But in the anime, they never got a license. He denied giving them the license.
I thought he ended up getting it at the end because he was driving later on.
As far as I can remember, it's been a long time since I've seen that episode. As far as I can remember, the driving instructor denied giving them a license because, and I'm pretty sure this is a direct quote, "You can fly, why do you need to drive?"
I vaguely remember that, but I think there is a reference later that they did end up getting them because the episode, like, there is a scene in the show where Goku's driving. Because it's the scene where Cell kills a bunch more people, and Goku leaves and gets Dende to resurrect the Dragon Balls. So yeah, I was gonna say something else about Dragon Ball, and now I forget what it fucking was. Shit. Oh, but yeah, Kid Goku. He's goofy and he's just looking for a good time, like in the best way. Like, and like some of his like bigger accomplishments were like almost like accidents. Like when he goes to fight the Red Ribbon Army. Like, he's initially just looking for the 4-star Dragon Ball. Like, that's all he wants. He doesn't want all of them. He just wants the 4-star because that was his grandfather's. And he has to keep beating these fucking guys up. And, like, their entire motivation for wanting the Dragon Balls is because the leader wants to be taller. But near the end, they kill, like, a friend. Like, somebody that, like, was helping him. And so, after that happens, he beats the guy that killed him, which was General Tao. And then goes and he's like, all right, I'm just going to go get the rest of the Dragon Balls and we'll wish your dad back. And he then goes and takes on the entire army at their base. And it's just this bit where like they don't even show a lot of it in the manga. He just goes through and just beats them all. Meanwhile, like all of his friends find out what he's doing and they're like panicking and they're like trying to get there before he gets there to like either stop or help him. And by the time they get there, he has already beaten the entire army and like has no scratches on him. Mm-hmm. Like has just taken out an entire army on his own. And this is like little kid Goku who like he can't fly. Like he can do a Kamehameha, but like it's not like the Kamehameha. And like yeah, he has a stick that grows and he just beats everybody. And then like he literally he gets rid of his tail weakness. This is one thing I thought was weird. So, in Dragon Ball Z, like, the whole way that they beat Raditz is because he's still got the tail weakness. Mm-hmm. They make a big deal about that. Goku, like, halfway through the series, gets rid of his tail weakness as a 12-year-old. Off panel. Like, Master Roshi just goes, yeah, like, just go train on your own. The next tournament is in 3 years. You should make it so that your tail isn't your biggest fucking weakness. And he shows up 3 years later, and somebody grabs his tail, and he pretends that it hurts, and he's like, nope, sorry, just kidding. Like, I got rid of that. I'm like, why did you think that fucking, like, if you could do it, why wouldn't this guy who's stronger than you and has been fighting his entire life do it?
Because nobody told him to just get rid of it.
No. Well, yeah, that's the thing. Saiyans were the most feared race in all of the universe, strongest race ever. If somebody was able to get close enough to a Saiyan to grab their tail, they would probably have killed the Saiyan. So Saiyans probably never trained to strengthen their tail because they should have been trained well enough to be able to kill anything that gets anywhere near that.
I mean, yes. But you figure by the time Vegeta and Nappa show up, they're both just like, what are we, bitches? That's not a weakness. Mm-hmm. Like, we haven't had that weakness since we were children. Raditz was a bitch.
True.
But like at that point in the series, like Raditz was stomping the fuck all over them. Like Goku got rid of the weakness before he got rid of his tail. Like Kami's the one that got rid of his tail, which I don't think I ever realized that Kami removed Goku's tail when he trained him so that he could resurrect the moon. Like, I remembered Master Roshi blowing up the moon, and then I remembered Piccolo blowing up the moon. I never remembered that Kami, like, got rid of Goku's tail so that he could bring the moon back.
I didn't know that they blew up the moon either time.
Yeah, so...
but I never really paid attention to Dragon Balls.
During the first tournament saga, Goku turned into the giant ape while fighting Master Roshi in the finals of the match. And everyone thought Master Roshi was about to kill Goku with a powered-up Kamehameha, but he just blew up the fucking moon. And then in the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, when Piccolo is training Gohan transforms, and Piccolo blows up the moon again. And there's actually a line at the end of Dragon Ball where Goku's like, oh yeah, like Kami didn't, Kami wanted to remove my tail for some reason. It had something to do with resurrecting the moon, but I don't get it because up to the beginning of Dragon Ball Z, Goku never learned that he turned into the giant monkey and killed his grandfather.
Oh, jeez.
Like, I don't think he learned that Saiyans did that until fighting Vegeta. So, there's that.
Real quick, I'm just gonna start, near the bottom paragraph. Goku carries the bus back to safety and returns to the instructors who are applauding them. The elderly man tells them that even though they have failed the test, he would trade his license any day for a chance to fly. The young woman agrees. When the two return home, Chi-Chi finds out they failed the test and faints yet again. That's how the episode ends.
Okay, so it must be the episode where they have the license where it's, offhandedly mentioned. Because he definitely drives in a later episode.
Or he just drives without a license. He's Goku. He's a bad dad.
So I think, because that bit was during the 3 years that they were training. That was pre-androids. And then him driving was post-Cell becoming perfect.
I don't remember. But,
yeah. I think that'll do it. No, that's going to be it. Unless you guys have anything else you want to say.
Nope.
No.
Right.
Dinner was ready half an hour.
Sorry. Go read Dragon Ball.
I bought myself books for my birthday. It's the Jurassic Park books that I'm probably never going to read, but I want to read.
I am actually, true story, I am going to read Jurassic Park in September.
Nice.
So, if you want to read it in September, I will force you to fucking read it.
Force me to read it in September, if I don't read it by then.
Okay, that works. But yeah, I think that's going to do it. So, in 2 weeks, we are going to be talking about Less Than Jake's Anthem and Stand Atlantic's F.E.A.R. But other than that, if you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. If you can't support us there with your dollars, though, you can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, other places as well. Rate us, review us, subscribe to us. It all helps. You can also follow us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline or at @one_quest on Twitter and Instagram. Our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo, and you can always send us emails to social@one-quest.com. And Rich, what is your streaming?
Twitch.tv/b_walnuts, youtube.com/@bwalnuts, and probably Kick soon as well, since I'm simul streaming. Might as well do them all. Check me out, variety streaming, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. The day this releases, August 3rd, is my birthday. We're doing a birthday stream starting around 5 o'clock Eastern Time. We're going to start with some Exo Primal, move to some Jackbox Party Pack 3, and then maybe Among Us if we have enough people, maybe some Mario Kart. I don't know. We'll see. I'm planning 5 to midnight, something like that. We'll see what happens, though. So come check it out.
Nice. Also, if I forget to say something tomorrow, happy birthday.
You're going to forget, but thank you.
Yeah. I got a long day tomorrow, so I very well might. But yes. Happy birthday anyway.
Thank you.
Otherwise, we will be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See yous.
Bye.